I'm Cameron Walker Miller with the Security Industry Association. Today's briefing comes from Patrick Simon, President of Beehive Technology Solutions and a leading voice in cybersecurity strategy. Patrick dives into the latest Microsoft Defense report to spotlight the major cyber threats facing organizations today. But he goes beyond trends. He challenges us to embed cybersecurity at the executive level and treat it as a strategic enterprise-wide priority.
Hello, my name is Patrick Simon, and I would like to take you this morning over the top 10 items that came out recently in the Microsoft 2025 Defense Report. As you know, all of our tier one technology providers provide these cybersecurity reports, and this is very timely because it came out, here shortly in the last couple of days, and of course, in Cybersecurity Awareness Week and Month, we want to make sure that you are aware of some of the upcoming trends, threats, and vulnerabilities that some of our tier one providers of technology are facing today. Number one on the list is manage cybersecurity at the boardroom level. What does that mean? Of course, we call that governance, risk, and compliance. And what we're saying is we like to see all of the corporate senior management, board, and the senior staff involved in making sure that risk and cyber are at the top of the list in the boardroom and in some of our more important meetings at the top levels. Security weaknesses have to be measured. And of course, one of those things that is getting a lot of attention, of course, is multi-factor authentication and access. But of course, we have to measure these things, and that takes a change at the top to be able to change the culture of the organization from a cybersecurity perspective. Number two is protecting identities, And we all know that identities play a major part in how we gain access to all of our assets and information. And so that should be giving some priority and attention, and most especially using phishing resistant multi-factor authentication. The third is invest in people and not just tools. Cybersecurity is definitely a team sport, and we definitely want to upskill and reskill our staff to ensure that they understand the threats and the vulnerabilities and the risks that they are taking, once they start using technology tools and being involved in digital services. That's very challenging for any organization, but most especially for individuals who are involved in the day-to-day workload of our organizations. Defend your perimeter. Very close to my heart. I'm a 21-year Army retiree. One of my first assignments, never can forget it. I was assigned to a nuclear weapons depot, and of course, boundaries, perimeters, and guarding critical assets is close to my heart. And I'm a big proponent of ensuring that you understand where your network perimeters are, where your boundaries are, how are your assets being protected? Are those assets critical assets, and how they affect the mission and how they affect the business? So we need to pay close attention to perimeters and boundaries and ensure that we're providing adequate security at those levels. Number 5, know your weaknesses and pre-plan for breach. We all know breach is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and that's a kind of an old cliche, unfortunately, in the cybersecurity market. But you know what? It's something that we should be thinking about every day, because it is going to happen to your organization. And the question becomes, are you prepared to respond? So ensure that you're developing a plan or have a plan, test the plan, execute the plan, not just on paper, do it live, test your backups, test your staff, come up with scenarios, make it fun, gamify it, have contests and pit teams against each other to do a better job. But at the same time, educate as well as prepare yourself for that day. And the day is going to come. Trust me. The next one that we have is identity management and understanding how to not just manage your identity, but mitigate threats to your identity. The next one is map and monitor cloud assets. That's a Microsoft term. I changed that This is a Patrick Simon saying, monitor and identify all of your assets and the data that is included with those assets, whether it be stationary, static, or dynamic data. Ensure you classify your assets because you don't want to put a large amount of attention and critical resources on information and assets that have very little value. You want to take your best shot at critical assets that have a direct impact on your mission and your business objectives. So take your staff, your resources, your very critical, valuable resources and apply them toward those assets that are critical in your organization that have mission impact. That includes on premises and in the cloud. So I like to modify that a little bit to say Microsoft's not wrong. They focused on cloud. Patrick Simon and the SIA, we're saying focus on all your assets and understand where they are, who they are, both human assets and systems assets. And that applies to identity as well, and any of those access policies that apply. Build and train for resiliency. We have to be able to recover not just with disaster recovery, with business continuity, programming and operations, and business impact analysis. So in other words, can you continue the business in a short period of time? That's resiliency. Resiliency is not having a plan and then testing disaster recovery at some point in the future. Disaster recovery is not enough. You need business continuity, and so you want to make sure that you're testing all of those domains, not just disaster recovery. Participate in intelligence sharing. And this is the reason why we're all in the Security Industry Association, because we're with a team of experts who do this all the time, every day. This is our life. This is our business, government as well as business. So this is a team sport. Cybersecurity and risk mitigation and digital risk is a team sport. Intelligence and information sharing is very important because that's how we prepare and respond to these digital threats that we are now facing, both with AI and quantum. Prepare for regulatory changes. Close to my heart, I'm in compliance. I do a lot of government work. These laws, regulations, and policies most times come out of the government. They need to be interpreted. They need to be understood. They're very bureaucratic, some cases political. You need to have experts understanding what those regulatory changes are, how they affect you, and then how you create digital controls to your assets to understand your mission, your objectives, and what risk you can tolerate, what risk you can't tolerate, and be able to make an organizational choice, not a government choice, an organizational choice on how you're going to handle risk and cybersecurity in the future. Last but not least, start understanding and get a deep handle on artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Quantum computing and quantum encryption and cryptography is here, okay? And so we've had some debates about this even recently in yesterday's meeting as well about, is this real or is this hype? It is not hype. And the reason being is because they are harvesting all of our personal encrypted business and government information, and they're now understanding that in the future, because of post-quantum, that they'll be able to decrypt this very highly sensitive information about all of us. And so we want to now start paying attention to quantum. And of course, artificial intelligence makes cybersecurity very, very dangerous in terms of the speed and the actual tools that these rogues who are stealing our personal and business information. And you can best believe this is not about espionage. This is about money. Okay, at the end of all of this, when you say nation state actors, they are in this for the money, not just because they hate some country and that this is why they want to attack you and it's similar to an act of war. That has some connection. However, it's about money. So remember, our personal and business and government information is gold. We want to protect it. So I hope you understand what those 10 things are today, and I hope you take action accordingly. Thank you very much for your attention this morning.
Thanks, Patrick, for underscoring leadership roles in cybersecurity. So if your boardroom isn't talking about digital risk, it's time to start. So be sure to share this video with your executive teams.